I don't want them to play to not lose because that's what I thought they did the first game. And against Sirius, a team like Sirius, he can't do that. Hack are an incredible team when they play their strengths. So I want to see them play comfortable. I want to see them do the things that they do.
The league Skyban comes out, and this has been Gankstars Sirius' kind of workaround. They say you pick the Kestrel, like, oh, we pick it. They give the Adagio over, which is Hackers prioritized, but it's giving Kestrel Lance straight over. You mean you've got Wrecked, one of the best Lancers in the world. Kestrel immediately locked in here. I mean, that's a pretty insane giveaway if you don't have a plan for it.
So the Flicker coming through, this is kind of Hack's side A draft. We've seen it before to some extent. Now, that being said, we know Sirius they're not the biggest fans of Flicker. It's not something they particularly love to do in their own team comps, and they did struggle a bit with it yesterday with Avalanche. So the one game we did get to see them kind of falter a little bit was just playing around this type of hero. So.
Okay, and then we're going to see, again, the Glaive locked in here. I think I would have been potentially alluding to potentially putting Kestrel in the jungle, maybe going CP Gwen or something, just to make sure you have that ability to control the stealth. But they're going to go for something that they feel comfortable with. Status is going to be on one of his comfort. And I think almost everyone's on something that's comfortable here.
Get into the semi-finals tomorrow.
Unless Hack has some kind of super secret plan with this Adagio Flicker combination to go invading, I would very much expect them to be very much defensive here early on and not go for anything aggressive. Just kind of sit for the babysit, especially with an Iron Guard contract here from SensePlay. Like, get up to that lane. Every time you hit those big...
Take their fronts. And we're actually going to see as well Dada being incredibly safe in the lane. He knows that Gankstars Sirius were looking for something early on. SensePlay will spot out Wrecked, but won't actually be able to dodge the Impellers. He steps back into it, puts the Binding Light down, and just runs his way away. This is a weakness of Flicker. Into Githian War, you can just get knocked away, especially if the Lance knows you're in the area.
Now, when we had the Red Cannons matchups, the Snow Avalanche matchups, there was a lot of pressure on vision, right? Scout traps, flares, and a lot of denying the whole fact that Flicker has to run at you in order to get that Fairy Dust ready to go, right? That's how he's going to set up for the rest of his team. Lance is really, really good at not allowing that to happen. So I'm curious to see who's going to get the first contraption.
I have to think it's going to be Lance trying to get it. You know, you want that early on, probably go Fountain into Contraption in all honesty. You need the vision into the Flicker. Either that or you can just buy a lot of flares, but that's a lot of gold your entire team has to invest into that to make sure you're never going to get caught out by the Mooncloak.
Now, so far, looking at Gankstars Sirius, you know, with this old school on this Kestrel, I had a very small thought it would be a Crystal Kestrel, but no, they have a double weapon here forming up. So I think that's even more dangerous for Hack to be rushing headlong into. Mooncloak or no, they get noticed in any bad spot. One step, misstep here, they are going to be taking a lot of arrows to the face.
So Hack here, you can see them being really defensive, and Gankstars Sirius are playing into what won them the first game, which is that overly aggressive early composition with the double weapon power. However, Bonesaw nerfs between the last championships and these worlds have come into effect. It means that double weapon is not as strong as it used to be and falls off a lot after you get past about the 15-minute mark.
Based upon a lot of the evidence here at Worlds, I'm actually leaning more towards old school. Maybe talk about that in a bit. No, all right, Young Shu's going to be okay. Maybe SensePlay, that's a different idea. All three Hackers coming down.
Yeah, they won't quite be able to catch out Rect and Status, who weren't able to get themselves away. Of course, Rect can try and impale away, and Status has the afterburn up in a couple of seconds as well, so it would have been quite difficult actually to lock them down. And you look at the composition coming out from Hack, where's their hard CC? You've got Binding Light, you've got Wait for It, I guess, which is a silence, and you've got the Verse. If you're going to try and lock someone down, it's an incredibly difficult thing to do with their comp.
There's no hard CC. I mean, even a root, yeah, sure, you might not be able to move out of it, but you can still attack. You can still cast things, right? There's no real stun unless Youngshu gets that burning down and we get that Verse, but that is a very expensive and long cooldown stun in order to really depend a lot upon this. And again, SensePlay is going to have to be the setup with that Fairy Dust. 70% slow when you overdrive that.
I think a big thing about this is Hack saying they want to win the team fights because of their composition. Like, if you pick people with hard CC, you know you can make those catches, you can catch one person out and take them down. This is Hack saying, look, we don't need to lock you down. We'll reposition in fights, we'll position ourselves perfectly at the start of fights, we'll take the exact fights we want to take, and it means that Gankstars Sirius needs to be very aware that always Hack will be looking for 3v3s, and they won't be looking for skirmish fights at all.
It's hard to say that Gankstars just, in our minds, you know, as an NA commentator, it's just hard to say that they didn't get their dream comp at this point.
Yeah.
Like, if they lose this game, I'm going to be rather surprised, but it wasn't because they lost the draft.
No, I think that for them, this draft is exactly what they'd like. I'm not sure it's the best draft into Hack. I think Hack have got a strong draft for themselves as well. I think Flicker, Adagio, and a carry is a very strong combination if you can use it effectively. But we do see a good Githian wall, and this is what we were talking about. Hack will always find it difficult to engage, and Status is always there for the re-engage. Tries to get onto Dada, does just knock him away. Won't be able to quite get those afterburns on point yet.
Again, I'm reminded of Game 2 yesterday. Red Canids versus Hunters. Red Canids had a flicker, they love early aggression, and they just couldn't find an angle. Gankstars have almost no angle to exploit.
Definitely, Old School's going to take some damage. Senseplay comes in with a Fairy Dust as well. Status does have the Afterburn, will knock Senseplay back into the Glimmers. 1-for-1 trade thus far. Hack looking for more out of it though. We'll get the slows onto Old School. Resonance bounces doing absolute work. Youngju takes the kill, and Hack go 2-1 up.
I'm actually rather surprised that the 1-for-1 trade actually happened as quick as it did, but Hack, resonance bounces, no problem. He's still a weapon box, but it's still enough. We've seen long distance kills here as well. Rekt is going to try to do his best to defend, but it's only just going to be a little bit of chip damage here on top of the turret. Hack will take a little bit of a lead, but I'm not certain they're out of the woodwork yet.
I have a slight qualm with the builds coming out from Gankstars Sirius. So Status has gone Tension Bow.
Yes, he has.
Yeah, I like it if you're winning the early game. I like it if he's got a couple of kills under his belt. But here, I think Solar Blade just gives you more flat weapon power, and you're more likely to be fighting in more prolongated team fights, because that's how Hack want to play just from their composition.
He has a Solar Blade. He's carrying it. That's Solar Blade Cliff.
It's true.
Yes, it is.
It's a good skin as well.
But you are right. I mean, typically you do see it a lot earlier on. You see it for this early game burst, but in this case, he might just be looking to get that burst and tank up. He is going to have to go in with Rekt, and that if they have a stronger front line, they're just going to put it all on Old School shoulders, and those are very strong shoulders to put them on.
That they are, especially if he is playing at his peak performance like he was in the last game. Youngju's got his alternating current now. Senseplay fountained up. He's going to be helping out his team quite a lot, almost at that level 6 as well, about half a level away from that. And I really want to see how Hack utilize that Mooncloak, because there's not a huge amount of vision yet for Gankstars Sirius. If you can get a couple of early ganks with the Mooncloak and win out fights, you can really deny any scout traps from the enemy team.
Oh, okay, all right. Status, he's just going to reclaim that back into his pocket.
Excuse me, this is mine.
Yeah, pretty much. Sensplay's going to come up into this one, but Old School, I'm not entirely too sure is going to get caught out here. You can't really focus down Rekt. It just has too many tools right there to live through all that pressure. But here comes Status Bake. This actually could now be a little bit of a return.
Knock into the wall. They are looking for the trade. Wait for it, comes out. Old School is just dead, though. Taken off the fold by Hack. Absolutely decimated there. They were not expecting the trade from Youngju and Dada.
I feel like they're underestimating Dada. I feel like it's just like they're seeing this box and saying, okay, no problem. And they go for the kill. I also feel like Status maybe baited his teammates into that one a little bit.
Status baked. Bait.
Big, yeah, big, yeah. I really gotta just remember that he changed his name.
Yeah, they're gonna take the turret here. Senseplay still has the Fairy Dust down. Status gonna jump his way away. But yeah, as you say, it felt like an underestimate. I can't say that word. It felt like they underestimated him. Yeah, there we go.
I got your back here. So Senseplay, okay, no, he's going to be okay. And there's not really going to be anything really too dire of consequences. Gankstars are thinking of doing this invade, though.
Youngju is low on energy, so they perhaps can push forward a little bit. Senseplay has Mooncloak now, though. Old School still trading in very, very effectively with the Solar Blades.
Yeah, and we do got Solar Blades on both sides. And remember I said, we don't really have an angle to exploit. So far, we haven't really seen like the Mooncloak being the end-all of the engage. It's really just kind of Gankstars positioning errors at this point. You got some minion candies there on Senseplay, but as the gold goes over to Gankstars, Old School's weapon power continues to grow. It's going to be harder and harder to kind of jump him, especially with that cooldown being reduced on active camo.
One good thing that Gankstars Sirius have been able to do is consistently take objectives. Even if they're not getting turrets, they're taking gold mines away, they're taking treants.
Yep.
And we saw it at the start of the first game as well, where Hack continually tried to get those treants away and just weren't able to secure those larger jungle camps.
I don't think they saw a single one.
No, they did not at all. What we have seen here is, though, Senseplay is looking by himself a lot of the time to try and get into the jungle of GSS, and they're actually allowing Youngju to go up for the trade. The Mooncloak comes in. Rekt doesn't realize it. He's in the shop. Here's the burst as well. Will use the fountain, but Rekt has been wrecked by Hack as he gets taken down.
Just kind of asleep at the wheel right there. You saw just no reaction time whatsoever for the longest of moments. So we'll have to see how he'll respond, but coming back out in about 5 seconds or so. But this could still be a turret.
That it could. They're looking for it. Second turret of the game here for Hack. They will decide it's not worth their lives at the moment, as Status and Old School were still there to defend. Just talking about being asleep at the wheel, a lot of time, you are in shop, you're looking to see what your next item is, and you get caught out in situations like that. It places a large emotional burden on your team.
Absolutely.
And we talked about this a lot on the analyst desk. Gankstars Sirius are a very emotional team. How do you think that's going to affect them coming into the middle portion of this game?
Well, I mean, because they do have a lot of objectives in their pocket, they are actually not behind, but emotionally, you're right. They might feel behind at this point, especially after that debacle right there. So if they have the iron nerves to go through this, I think it's going to be fine. Otherwise, you're just going to start seeing more and more slip-ups. And we've already seen a few sloppy fights from these guys. I don't think they can afford really any others.
No, any more really starts Hack getting that snowball rolling. Senseplay is Mooncloak is a long cooldown to start off with. 90 seconds or so. It takes a long time to come back up. Actually, I think it's 100 seconds at rank 1. So Senseplay now is just trying to get that Will-O-Wisper, positioning himself a bit aggressively. Gets called out by the one-shot on kill. Will just continue to walk in here. Status and Old School still defending this turret. They are candied minions there.
Yeah, and the Candy just pushing forward makes them a little bit more tougher. But again, Old School's weapon power keeps going up. They got Glaive right there as well. They're just going to eat right through that, no problem. Senseplay sees what's going on here. He sees Wrecked. He is right there into the middle thing, and everything is just so wide.
That was almost perfect for Senseplay. He was in such a good position, and if Old School and Status had started to push towards Yongju and Dada, he had the perfect flank, but did have the awareness. Old School was able to spot him out, and they force him back once again. Of course, Flicker's Mooncloak and Invisibility are cancelled out by any damage that you take. And actually, we're going to start to see infusions here on Hack, so they're looking for a fight.
Level 9, level 8, we got more candies there from Senseplay as well. They really want to try to put the irons to this turret. And if they bring it down, Gankstars, again, is just going to have to be forced to move back. The line of scrimmage will be moving up. The candies are here for the siege, but Gankstars, it's up to them to make sure that they will survive.
Rex tried to roll in. His Status onto Dada, knocks him back into the turret. One shot, one kill, not going to connect. As Gankstars Sirius keep holding on to this turret. Dada actually, before this fight even started, missed a wait for it onto Old School, and Hack are still going for the fight. They still think they're so far ahead that they don't even need that extra ultimate. Rect helping push this turret back, but the turret should fall in just a second. Sense plays low, pops the fountain, gets knocked back. Here's the burst. Dada off towards the back line. Old School on Senseplay. Dada knocked into the wall, but Senseplay somehow is still alive. Eventually taken down. Gankstars lose 2, and here goes Rect as well. It's gonna be an ace for Hack.
I really wonder if Hack just kind of brought a big bait into this one, because Gankstars, they're so careful around Senseplay. They're really trying to get Mooncloak, but they're losing objectives now. Hack is just pushing it, and Vox is 3-0-3. Dada and this Vox, this weapon is just really doing a lot of work. Yeah, again, Dada up there, Rex, he's up there, but they're left Senseplay into the back, but it doesn't matter. He's tied up 2 members here. Yongju 3-man first really starts bringing him down, and Dada, he's just zooming around. He takes down 1. Senseplay eventually dies, but he's done his work. He tied up 2 where there was no big fight, and he even brought down the Kestrel de Bear, and that eventually led to the ace.
So Senseplay used the Mooncloak there in like the middle of the fight. Neither of his other 2 teammates got invisibility because they were caught out anyway, taking damage.
Yeah.
But he got the invisibility, which delayed Old School for about another 1.5 seconds trying to chase him. We are going to see a bit more of a fight though, as Dada gets jumped on by Status. We'll be able to get underneath the turret, Impale just not quite connecting, and Hack will be able to back away. They get underneath their turrets, they get back away from the fight. Gankstars Sirius are looking to take the gold mine once again.
All right, so they've reclaimed a little bit of positioning here on the fold, but now they are variably down in cash. Even with that immense payout, they're still down about 1,000 gold or so. No signs of contraptions, and remember, like, we did not have infusions there from Gankstars, right? Hack was intentionally looking for those fights, trying to use those buffs. They got the turret. They might have not have gotten the gold mine, but they are still very much in control of the momentum here.
I just want to bring attention to Rex's build as well. He's going very heavy armor without any shielding for himself, without contraption as well. Only has 1 slot free to put in flares or scout traps, so he has to decide which one of those he wants. I would have much preferred to see something like a Crucible out on him to block the wait for it or to block the verse. It's putting a lot on the rest of your team to use their own reflex blocks, and only Old School actually has one in his inventory.
Well, if Rek can get an impale on top of Dada, it's an easy Atlas. And that's happened in the last fight, but unfortunately, there was no follow-up, right? Senseplay tied up the other 2 members of Gankstars, and it was like a 2v1 and a 2v1 just happening more or less in the same space. If we can clean up, this could be great.
Here goes the fight. Yongju dodges out the impale. Status on the backline, trying to plunge himself in. Here is the burst, though. Old School caught out with the wait for it. Dada trying to get on towards Old School, but it's taken low. Senseplay now the front line for Hack. Yongju takes a couple of glimmers. They've already taken down 1. They're going to take 2, and they're looking for the 3rd. Gankstars Sirius chasing on towards Dada here. Will be able to roll their way towards him. This Vox is not long for the fold. Rekt Doesn't hit the Impale though as Dada Sonic zooms away. Here's the Afterburn. Dada will eventually fall and Gankstars Sirius take the ace.
You got that big sword, you might as well use it there. Rek takes the kill right out from under status right there. But yes, they cleaned up the fight. Sensplay, not really with his teammates. Yeah, we missed the first Impale here, no problem. But Sensplay, Mooncloaks, or at least he thinks about it. There we go, it now kicks in. He gets off to the side. We push off Youngju. Not exactly the first that they wanted, but Dada, he's already on the retreat. This is now a 2v1 up against Sense into the side with Rek as that front line. The armor paying off extremely well. Dada not able to really burst through that, and then they just chase down, get the ace, and it's still anybody's game.
That it is. Gankstars Sirius now ahead in the gold as well. They've begun to equalize this one out. They are 3 turrets down. The Kraken is on the fold as well, and Sirius have been in control of those objectives in the jungle time and time again. Perhaps Kraken will be the next on their hit list.
Now, we do got armor here from Dada. Amongst all that ready, is going to be looking into that Monaco as soon as he can. But on the flip side, Old School does have at least the first. He could actually, you still could actually see that bone cell you're talking about. But 4 red for Old School. That is, well, we'll have to see if that pays off. Here's the Mooncloak, but they're not finding Gankstars.
Weren't quite able to catch them out. The flare did come down. Gankstars Sirius aware of where Hack probably are. Definitely aware of it now with the minion mine being started up. Here's Sensplay in the front line. Wait for it, comes out. Double silence on the back. Burst used. Old School walks into it. Old School, that's not where you want to be at all. Takes 931 damage straight to his face. Gankstars somehow still alive though. Active camo stun on 2. Youngju's dead. Here's the one shot, one kill. Sensplay will dodge it. Dada now needs to try and face up in a 2v1. Rekt getting in onto him with the Atlas as well. Gonna try and chase him down. Impale used. Dada still in this 1v2. Might try and trade onto Old School. Glimmers. No! What was that, Dada? Eventually falls. Sensplay escaped. There's no ace. And what was that?
That is not how I saw that going.
Sensplay took a turret!
Yeah, Sensplay
what are you doing, Sensplay? You're a roamer! You're not allowed to do this!
Hey, just because he's a little forest animal of some kind doesn't mean he still can't contribute. Yeah, he's gonna die, but it doesn't matter. But we got Youngju already back up. Still no ace for Gankstars. They lose at the turret. They did not expect to lose Old School in that 2v1, and that was just absolutely mind-blowing. Dada really bringing forth some of those stacks on that breaking point.
We saw a backdoor in the last game. I mean, it wasn't a full backdoor, but it kind of happened.
It's still
You've got Mooncloak. You've got Mooncloak. We could see a second backdoor in 2 games between these 2 teams.
That is a thought and a half there, my friend.
I think I've only ever seen 2 backdoors in professional play before this. Like, actually at live championships.
I'm a little bit ahead of you on the event count, but we have definitely seen some really crazy stuff here in Vainglory. And that's half the fun of this game, just like watching these big plays, especially now on a world level. Just Hack is not done with this series yet. They are not willing to go quietly into the night, and they're still making plays. The gold is basically just irrelevant. 1,000 between them means it's still anybody's go. If we have a great fight from Gankstars, they can take this, but oh, it's going to be dicey.
Rekt is looking for it, gets onto Sensplay. Those Glimmers are doing a lot of work. Silence on the backline with the wait for it. Rekt going in with the War Treads. Not going to be able to make the connection he wants. And Hack now with the re-engage. Mooncloak, War Treads, Old School, active camo, will keep himself alive. Rekt there to try and save his laner. Old School almost takes out Youngju. The fountain out. Dada's deader. And now Sensplay and Youngju are the targets. Youngju might get back. Sensplay is just going to do what he always does and sneak around. Like a sly little fox will get himself away. But Hack lose Dada.
All of a sudden, Dada, who was at 3-0-3, now he's 4-3-3. He is just getting knocked around, and Old School might have actually hit that plateau where it just doesn't matter anymore. Kestrel can carry this one. We got the tankiness done. We even have that Sora Blade for status, but Rekt and that armor, that double armor, he is shutting down this box very handily.
Sensplay steals this. I will do anything. Senseplay's going to get called out. He doesn't steal it away. Gankstars Sirius take the Kraken. They've got 5 turrets to push through. They're going to start off taking out Sensplay, and now Gankstars Sirius are looking for the TSM special. They're looking for 5 turrets and a crystal. Can they do it?
The last 2 fights, I want to say that Sensplay, if they win this game, he's MVP, but Old School and 2 sets of active camos over 2 sets of fights have now turned this game into the Gankstars show. 5 turrets and a Kraken, no problem. They are just going to push in. We have the lemming effect here from Hack. They just keep going in one at a time. Sensplay, he had to make that attempt, but now down this defender, they're losing 3 turrets minimum.
This is smart from Hack, though. They back away to their inner turret just to keep a little bit of defensiveness. Senseplay is now alive, and this is where they'll try and make their final stand. Dada, Youngju, and Senseplay facing up against Gankstars Sirius.
The Kestrel damage!
The Kestrel damage is absolutely huge on towards that turret. Look at the crits.
Goodbye,
and
choke.
look at the hits. That is the choke turret down, as you say, forecourt. The Kraken has been left for dust here by Gankstars Sirius, but they've got all they wanted out of that push.
All right, so we've seen comebacks way closer than this. It still actually could go either way, but Gankstars, they've tightened up, they've gotten to their late game. Status might not be the the sharpest tool out there, but Old School, he is just puncturing through steel plate after steel plate with this Kestrel, and 500 damage on turrets means, all right, one slip up, it's over. You are done in Worlds.
Especially with Rekt having so much armor as well, can tank those turrets for days. Hacker,
There it is.
Hacker going for it. They want this backdoor. There is the Willow Whisper, going to use the Mooncloak probably just about now as they go in for the push. They haven't been spotted at all. There's minions here, but they're not going to be spotted by that. They're going in, so level 3 Mooncloak is an absolutely huge. Where are Sirius? They're backing away. They're going for it. The turret is the target. Wait for it, comes out. Hack, trying to take the first crystal turret down. Here's Gankstars Sirius. It's up to Old School. Can they get Dada? The burst is huge. This is going to be the crystal. What was that?
10-second Mooncloak, the first getting a triple stun at the end of all things, and I didn't actually expect to see that backdoor. You said it, I thought it was a joke, my friend, but holy cow. You're out of breath. I don't really know what else to say about that.
What an absolute stonker of a series. That was beautiful to watch and perfectly timed by them as well.